Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, secrets to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine gaze. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. It's Amber Live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber.
Hey Amber, what the heck? I'm driving around looking for last week's segment because it never aired.
All my hard work for nothing.
Dude, is Rusty Peen gonna be on the show this week?
I don't know, I think you're slipping in your older age. I say older because let's face it, you're older.
Make a video, Rusty. We'll play it on the fucking show, dude.
Wow, thanks Amber!
Come on, get with the program.
Play Duane fucking Scott Cerny. Dude with 3 fucking names. Pick a name, Duane Scott Cerny.
Gee, I don't know what the problem was.
You wanna see a fucking artist at work?
Put me back on!
I was on the show.
Dude, did anyone get a word that guy said?
Rusty wasn't? Funny, didn't miss him.
Couldn't understand a word with him. He needs fucking subtitles, dude.
Everybody just calm down. Jeez, you'd think we caused the stock market to crash or something. Oh, maybe we did. I'm not taking responsibility for that. Anyway, look, last week we had an unfortunate technical glitch. Some parts of the show did not play in their entirety. We missed Rocco and Rusty and Pass the Tea, but we will play them this week because we thought it was such a great show. The Maureen Van Zand interview is fantastic. Rocco, Rusty, and Emoji did a lot of hard work on their parts. So we're playing it all again. You're going to love it. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome on this chilly Sunday night here in Burlington, Vermont. But we've got a great show for you lined up. And to help us get it started tonight, I'm sorry. You know what you need to do first before we get started? You need to like, share, and subscribe. Silly me. I'm just so excited about tonight's show. But you want to get that out of the way first, all right? Make sure you do it. All right? So now let's bring in Russell to talk about the show.
Hey, Amber, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Russell. I'm just really excited about tonight's show.
And cold, too, apparently.
Yes. So, Russell, I know we have some new viewers tonight, so tell them what's the best way to watch the show.
Okay, the best way to watch the show is on YouTube. And that's because on YouTube, Amber comes in full HD, and a lot of people are over on YouTube watching, so you can join the chat there and talk with all your friends. So go to youtube.com/AmberLive for that. And we want to remind you about our TikTok channel and our Instagram and also our website and all the other places you can find Amber Live and Amber Live material, because we have a variety of things, some that are in the show and some that aren't in the show. And so if you go to the different sites, you'll find different things. So
yes. So you want, and it's great to go on that YouTube channel because you can see the past episodes. You can just scroll through and just, if you missed, I missed that one, or oh boy, that was really good, I want to watch that again. It's right there for you. Make sure you like it too.
All 91 of the past episodes.
Oh my God! Make sure you like them when you're there too. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment too. We always like to see those. So please go ahead. All right. Let's see what do you want to talk about now, Russell?
My favorite thing, the bustiers.
Yes.
And as you remember, I've cleared the slate to start over this year.
Shoot.
We got our first bustier, Cleo Rorex, who is one of our past guests and a wonderful woman. and you can help us out and become a bustier yourself using Venmo at RJD Pro, or you can go to the Amber Live website at amberlive.tv and look for the Support Amber Live button if you'd like to use a credit card to help us out. And if you give $25 or more, you'll get an Amber Live sticker with the logo. If you give $100 more, you get a sticker and a magnet. And for $200 or more, I will send you a sticker, a magnet, and a mug with the beautiful Amber Live logo on it. And all of that help from all of you is really needed. It helps us pay the bills here, helps us keep the stream streaming so that you can see Amber and all of her friends. So remember, that's Venmo at RJD Pro, and we're going to be bringing you some great guests and some great segments and lots of Peen and some Pass the Tea. There's a little bit of everything this season.
Every week. And if you recall, just 2 weeks ago, that list was all full of people from all over the country who had donated to Amber Live during our first 2 years. So now we're starting new, so fresh start. So come on in and join us. We'd love that.
Yes, and thank you to everyone who does help us out.
Yes. All right, so Russell, tell us about tonight's guest and tonight's show.
Oh, tonight's guest. Well, we've seen a little bit of this guest already this season, but we're doing a full interview with her tonight, and it's Maureen Van Zand, who is, I think, best known for her 6 years on The Sopranos, which is amazing. But she's spent time on Broadway. She's done movies. She's married to Steve Van Zandt, who is in Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. So, I mean, it's an amazing guest and an amazing story. And our friend Brad Forenza will be back for a segment as well. So you'll get to see him again talking about his show. And that's the part of the show that you may have seen before, but the rest of the interview is all brand new and quite interesting.
It really is. All right. So let's get on with it. Okay, Russell?
All right. Have a great show.
Yes, thank you. Oh, yes. We recorded this a few weeks ago to fit into her schedule and ours, but it is so good. She talks about Broadway, teaching ballet, meeting all these rock stars, and being on The Sopranos. And coming up right now is part one of that interview. Well, we told you what was coming up, so now let's do it. Let's bring in Maureen Van Zand. Maureen, come on in.
Hello.
Hello, Maureen. It is such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining Amber Live. Now, a lot of people are going to see you and they'll go, I know her. She was on The Sopranos. And that may be all that they know about you. But you've had a very interesting history in the entertainment performance field. Tell me about that.
It's a strange. Well, they might not recognize me because my hair's not as big as it was there. But, oh, my God. I started out as a little ballet girl, a little ballerina. Age 5, started doing that. Ended up on Broadway in Gypsy when I was quite
okay. Let's just talk about. Let's back up to ballet. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, mostly.
So ballet as a young girl, how were your parents interested in ballet? Is that something you decided you wanted to do?
Not at all. They were the least stage parents that you would ever have met in your life. I just went because one of my friends was going to take some dance lessons, and I thought I'll go with her. And she quit. I stayed, and I loved it. And then my grandfather took me to see West Side Story on Broadway when I was a little girl, and I thought, oh, I want to do. I saw the sharks, and I'm like, I want to do that. And then I saw Tita Rivera. I'm like, no, I want to do that. And so I never reached Tita's level, but I did become friends with her, which is even better. So yeah, seeing that really inspired me.
How exciting. So you went from ballet. Do you remember your first recital or whatever, a performance as a ballet dancer?
I'm sure it was in the Nutcracker or one of those things. And I was a little snowflake or something like that. I don't really remember it, but there were a lot of them. And it was very, very challenging because most of the ballet girls wanted to just only do that, but I wanted to have a whole other life. And I was a very rock and roll girl when I got into my teens. So it was kind of hard balancing the two things, but I wanted to do it because I didn't want to miss out on anything.
All right, you mentioned Gypsy. How old were you when you auditioned for Gypsy? Tell me about that.
I was, I guess, about 8 or 9. And I was brought in as a replacement. I was not original cast or anything, but I was Baby June, and got to tap dance, and probably the only time in my life that I could sing, because
Who was Mama Rose? Who was Mama Rose?
Who do you think?
Ethel? Oh my God, you worked with Ethel Merman.
And I thought she was this big giant person. She was actually this little teeny woman, but she was so big and terrifying in a way. Yeah, it was fun. And again, I don't have that many clear memories about it, but I remember that I was very, very much in awe.
How many years were you in Gypsy?
Oh, very, very, very short time. Very short time. I was brought in as a replacement, and I did it for a little bit. I wasn't really a singer. I didn't think that Broadway was going to end up being my thing. So I thought I'll either act or dance, but I knew I couldn't be the triple threat that they require.
Okay, what came after Gypsy?
Let's see. After that, I guess continued my ballet studies and just was sort of a regular girl. And then when I was about 18, I ended up in Hair on Broadway. Again, not original cast, but one of the tribe members. Again, not a singer, so I was a dancer and kind of hippie.
Naked? Did you get naked?
Well, yeah. Everybody did kind of.
How was that? How was that? Your first rehearsal, or I mean, the other obviously you said you were brought in, so the other people were used to it. Yeah, take them off.
Yeah, and I mean, I think when you're that age, nothing, and you're in good shape, and you're kind of a hippie anyway. You don't care. Everybody else is doing it. I would never have done it on my own. No, if someone said go on stage naked by yourself, no way. But it was kind of dark. It was not really just standing out there. It was part of the show. So I thought, well, that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. I don't think my father thought that, but it was okay. It just, I think at that time, it was the late 60s. Everybody was very free spirited and thought it was a cool thing to do. So now I couldn't do it and wouldn't do it, but
I saw a great picture the other day of teenage girls in 1963 with their bouffant hair and everything. Oh, yeah. And then in 67, just like 4 years later, and they were all hippie girls, just
exactly.
Amazing.
And that's what I was, because every year in the 60s, the style was different. And that's what was so cool about it, really. That was like a great costume party. Every year you go, okay, now I'm going to wear the fringy things. Now I'm going to wear the glitter glam things. Now I'm going to wear my cute little mod mini dress. So it was fun. It was a great time to grow up, I think.
Now, during that time in Hair, did you meet anyone who eventually became a big star like you?
Well, well, at the time, I think Melba Moore was in Hair. I mean, there were people that would come to see the show that were celebrities, but I was really into hanging out with rock and roll people. So I used to go around the corner and hang out at a club called Steve Paul's Scene. And that was, the hangout of Jimi Hendrix and, Janis Joplin, all those, anybody who came to town to do a rock show and was a big rock star would end up hanging out there. So that's where I got to meet a lot of those people. And, some I still know and talk to, the ones that have still, that have survived it. Yes. Ones that are as ancient as I am. Yeah, there's still a few of us around.
After Hair, what came in after Hair?
Then I joined a ballet company. I danced with the New Jersey Ballet, and I danced with American Ballet Theater. So I did that. I didn't do any acting, but I continued to study acting because I thought it would help me with dance performances. So I did that. I did Phantom of the Opera for a very short time. Again, my ballet teacher was a ballet mistress, brought me in when people got injured. So I didn't do it all the time. So it was kind of a little part-time gig. So really all the rest of the time I danced. I started studying acting seriously again. And then when I stopped dancing, I formed a theater company. And I started producing plays and acting in plays, and that's kind of what I've done, and I've taught ballet. I currently teach acting.
So who did you take your acting lessons from?
I studied with Herbert Berghoff. I studied with Stella Adler.
Oh, you couldn't find anybody good, huh?
Yeah, no, I just went to the rejects, I mean, it's just that it was the timing, those were the people that were teaching then. And, I don't think there's been an equivalent since. I mean, I'm not really going to acting classes, but those were the legends. And I was lucky, I studied with a number of different teachers, Michael Beckett, Sam Groom, Elizabeth Wilson. Yeah. And it was interesting because I got different things from all of them. And it was just great to watch them because some of them were just performers in there. I mean, Stella Adler would come into the room like the biggest star on earth. So no one could ever compare to her. But I was lucky.
I love how you just said, yep, I was in Hair. Yeah, I was in Gypsy with Ethel. Yeah, that is so
many years ago. Yes.
All right, so let's zoom up into the what year was The Sopranos? What year did that start?
I think they shot the first episode in 1999, but I didn't come on the show until the second season. So it was probably about 2000, I guess, the next year.
And how did you get that part?
Well, my husband plays Silvio Dante on the show, and he had a wife in the first season, and they didn't want to continue with that actress. She really didn't have that much to do, so I don't think that she was very visible. And I was at the wrap party for the first season, and the casting person, Georgianne Walken, came up to me and said, "Would you like to come and audition to play his wife?" And I was like, "No way, that's too weird." And then I kind of thought about it, and I talked to some of my friends. They said, "You're so stupid. It's like the biggest show on TV. You have to do this." And I thought, okay, I'm not going to get it anyway, because they're very strict on The Sopranos. You really had to audition. They wouldn't just say, "Oh yeah, you're Steven's wife, so we're going to give you the part."
Good.
So I went in and I auditioned. There were 100 women in the hallway, and they were all very Italian looking. I'm like, I'm definitely not getting this. So I kind of went in and I had fun. And then they called me the next day and said it was down to 4 people, and I was one of them. And I go in there, and there's a very famous soap opera star there. And I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not getting it. So again, normally I'd be totally freaked out and nervous about an audition, but I just didn't think that I would be in the running. So I had to go up in front of the entire cast and crew of not the cast, but the crew of the show. And it was very daunting for me. It was a very strange experience. And, did a scene, and then I got the part. And no one was more shocked than I was. And
who did you model your character after?
Well, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. And I grew up among those people who are the type of people who are on Sopranos. So I had a lot of models, my aunts, my mother, my sister. So I kind of played my sister a little bit.
Does she know that?
I think I might have told her, or if she watched it, I think she would figure it out. I think a lot of my language, the way I spoke, and the clothing, I used to give it to her after we finished for the season, because they would give us our wardrobe, and I'd say, "Here, I got a whole ton of clothing for you that I'm not going to wear," and she'd be like, "Oh, this is fantastic." So yeah.
Had you done TV before The Sopranos?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, and my first scene was with Edie Falco, and it was a big long scene, which of course got cut to death, as everything does on TV, but I'm thinking, like, what the hell? I'm on set. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And I said to Edie, this is my first TV job. And she said, nobody has to know. And she was great. And, we did the scene and baptism by fire, and it was okay. I was always nervous. So it was very strange to me, because I had always been on stage. So to be in a room with cameras and lights and people all around, it was really difficult for me.
So what did your husband, what encouragement did he give you, or did he give you any guidance?
Well, I just think there was a certain comfort in his having been there. So I had already met a lot of the actors. So I didn't come in a total stranger. But truthfully, we weren't in that many scenes together. I was mostly in the scenes where I'm going to lunch with the girls, or, going to some church thing, or, movie night with the girls. So I was in a few scenes with him. And there was one episode where we did a lot together, but mostly it was not so much husband and wife thing, even though we played that. But it was fun. It was interesting to try to have to relate to him in a whole different way.
When did you first meet Steven?
I met him in 1975. At the Bottom Line Club, when Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band did their shows that kind of put him on the map. They did, I think, 15 shows or 10 shows in a row. And people were talking about this guy, Bruce Springsteen. And I'm like, who the hell is that? And my friend said to me, you got to come to the show. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. You know, as with everything that turned out to be something big in my life, it's always like, no, I'm not interested. Oh, I'm not going to get that. And so I went to the show and that's where we met. And didn't start going out till a couple of years later, but all the way back then. Yeah.
And you've been together how many years?
Oh God, since 77. So I'm very poor at math, but married since 82, but together since 77. Yeah.
Wow, 40-some years. Congratulations. Congratulations. That is great.
You don't look a day over 95, right? So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Maureen. We have a lot more to talk about, but we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Fantastic.
We'll be right back with
Maureen
Van Zand. Oh, wait, there's more coming up with Maureen Van Zand. But first, people said, where was Rusty Peen last week? Well, I think he was preparing for this special tribute to The Sopranos. Can't wait to see this. Take it away, Rusty.
Thinking and drinking with Rusty Peen.
So, Rusty, do you have any dreams? Do you dream at night?
No, I drink too much, bud.
Yeah.
Don't remember your shit. Morning, every day I wake up, it's like a fucking etch sketch, bud. Don't remember shit.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Stay hydrated, stay in the shade, stay safe, stay cool, stay.
Do you have any dreams? Do you dream at night?
Sup, dude? This here's Rusty Peen from the Beaver Pond Guns and Tackle Society, former president of the Beaver Pond Guns and Tackle Society, and their mission is to arm more drag queens because a loaded drag queen is a safe drag queen. Dude, y'all have pushed the Peen too far, and it's high time I be getting out of this one-horse town. Dude, I taught Craig how to talk good. I solved that troll problem by drop-kicking the fucker in the fucking throat, dude. Dude, Ma Peen says I'm a drunken peen all the time, ain't never gonna do nothing with my life. Well, I won that Golden Cootie Award, didn't I? Dude, it's time that I sell my gun, quit being president, and get out of town. I'm going to New York and seeing Russell and Jock and making it in a big city. Kiss my ass, fucking dirtmouth college. Woke up this morning, got yourself a peen. Mama always said you'd be the dirtbag dream. She said, you're from Milton, you were born to shine, but you were born on a bad sign with a blue moon in your eyes. Dude, you woke up this morning, all your love is gone. Papa P never told you about right and wrong. He said, drop kick that fucker in the fucking throat, dude. Dude, ain't no question about it. Born on a bad sun with a blue moon in your eyes. Woke up this morning, got blue moon in your eyes. Woke up this morning, world turned upside down. You're about to think I'm in your shame. Since your bulldog in your town. But you're from Milton, you got shotgun shine. Shame about it. Corner bad sign with a blue moon in your eyes. Woke up this morning, got yourself a peen. Got yourself a peen. Got yourself a peen.
Hey, Rusty! We're here!
Rusty, you never cease to amuse me. Thank you so much, Rusty Peen. Now let's get back to Maureen Van Zand. And this is the one where you're going to see Brad, who we interviewed a couple of weeks ago, and how we got in to interview Maureen Van Zand. So here's part 2 now. All right, we've got more to talk to Maureen Van Zand about post Sopranos. So come back in, Maureen.
Right.
Welcome back. Okay, so how many years were you on The Sopranos?
I was on from the second season through the last, which it was, they called it sixth season, but it was sort of really seven because they split it up. So I was on the whole way through from season 2.
Now, what did you think about the prequel movie that was out recently?
Oh, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And David Chase, the creator of Sopranos, who of course wrote it, is one of my dearest friends. And so I knew all about it from the inception. And so it was always exciting. You know, I saw different versions of it before the end version came out. And I just thought it was a lot of fun. I think, the cast was wonderful. And it was interesting to, to see what happened before. And I just really, really enjoyed it.
Were you disappointed your character wasn't featured or mentioned?
Well, I don't know how strictly they kept to the backstory of my character, but my character was supposed to have met Silvio when she was older, when they were both older. She was supposedly an ex-showgirl. So I would not have been there at that time. Although, I did say I will play my younger self if you want me in it. No need to hire anybody else.
All right. So it's been many years. What did you do in between the time The Sopranos closed down and the pandemic?
Well, I mentioned that I had gone back to studying acting, and I met a few actors in class, and we decided to start a theater company together. So we started a company and did a ton of really great plays and continued that over the years. And Vincent Pastore, who played Big Pussy on The Sopranos, he was in one of the plays that we did, and we became very good friends. And then we started another company called Renegade Theater, NYC. And so we've been doing that. And we've taught an acting class together under the auspices of HB Studios, where I studied years ago and where he had studied years ago. And so been doing that with him. And now I'm doing my own acting class with another actor, Sammy Semenza. And I'm working with Vinny on a play. We did A Streetcar Named Desire last year, all on Zoom. So we were talking about before pandemic. So before pandemic, I did mostly the theater company stuff. And then I also taught acting to ballet dancers at American Ballet Theater, which was a blast, not
That's
for that.
Fascinating. That's fascinating because one doesn't think that the ballet dancers need to act, but they need to present themselves. And
we're telling stories when we dance. If you're dancing in Romeo and Juliet, or you're dancing in Swan Lake, you are that swan, and she's in a situation. She meets the prince. The prince has to save her from this evil monster. So you are acting. You're just not using your voice. And that is what's interesting about teaching ballet dancers, because they kind of don't, and I didn't at first either. They don't know how to use their voices. They just know how to use their bodies. So it's kind of very scary for them to start that acting process. But once they got into it, I think they got it and they enjoyed it. And I really look forward to going back and doing it again. But that's something that really has to be done in person. And I don't know if everybody is 100% ready for that. It's things are okay, and then they get bad again. So just
what type of plays did you produce with the Renegade Theater?
Oh God, with my first theater company, we did Simpatico by Sam Shepard. We did Burn This by Lanford Wilson. We did some Tennessee Williams. We did a number of original plays, and then with Renegade Theater, we've done, oh my God, something called 40 CPS, which is about Michael Bennett and his about the period of time when Chorus Line was being turned into a movie, and all of the problems he was having with the movie producers, because he wanted it his way, of course, and they wanted it their way. We did.
It was a terrible movie.
Yeah,
it was a terrible movie.
Exactly. We've done so many plays. We've done something called Marlon Brando Sat Right Here, which is about a waitress in the 50s who works at a diner. When On the Waterfront was being filmed, and Marlon Brando would come in the diner. So that play is kind of based around that. We've done a ton of really, really great stuff. And then of course moved on to doing it on Zoom after. all the
Yeah, March 2020 started the pandemic, and we had to shift gears. So how did you shift gears?
Yeah, it was at the time that it happened. Our theater company was rehearsing a play called Lovers and Other Strangers, which we had done before.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic play. And we got a whole new cast together, and we were very excited about doing it. We were rehearsing. We rehearsed one night. The next day, everything shuts down. Broadway, everything gone. So we thought, well, should we just drop this, and maybe in a few months everything will come back like everyone thought? And we thought no, and we saw it wasn't coming back right away. So we thought, let's try this Zoom thing. So we were kind of one of the first groups to put up a play on Zoom, and it was a mess because Zoom was really a disaster.
Am I on? Can you hear me?
Exactly, and people's arms disappearing and heads disappearing and
Cats.
So it was a challenge, but we did it, and we learned how to keep doing it because that was all we had.
That's all we had, and that's how this show started as well. Now,
exactly.
one of the projects you've been working on is Around the Sun.
Yes.
With our good friend Brad Forenza. So let's bring Brad in and let's talk about that.
Fantastic.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Brad.
Hi. Good to see you, Amber. Great to see you, Maureen.
Yes, Brad. For those who didn't know, Brad was on the show back on January 2nd, I believe it was, and we talked about this show, Around the Sun. And Maureen, well, first of all, Brad, just for those who didn't see that, just give us a brief synopsis of what your show is about.
Sure. I have to kind of massage out my smile lines because Maureen and her history has me smiling quite wide, hair especially. But Around the Sun is a project that Maureen and Vincent Pastore and other wonderful people were gracious enough to help me with and act in. It is a scripted episodic podcast. So it's not a traditional interview-oriented podcast. There's a script that I wrote. Every episode is self-contained, and every episode features two co-stars. Maureen and Joanna Bonaro appear in one of the episodes called Wall Street. I'll let Maureen share more about that. And I have the great privilege of acting opposite Mr. Pastore in another episode called The Museum.
Very cool, very cool. So, Maureen, tell us about the episode that you're in, Wall Street.
Well, I guess I can't really give it away, Brad, right? But it's just it's a very unusual episode of two women who know each other. And one of them, my character, asks a very strange favor from the other woman in payback for something that she's given me. Is that?
Yeah, I think
that, because without giving away the whole thing, unless you want to elaborate on it, Brad, I don't want to say the wrong thing and get fired.
Oh, I'm so honored that you would say anything about it, starting with, yes, I'll do it. Maureen plays a bit of a Don, for lack of a better word, but a Don of a different color. So she believes that her neighbor owes her a favor. And to that end, hilarity ensues because what the ask is maybe a bit less typical for a typical Don. But Maureen is not a typical Don.
Who wrote that episode?
I did. I wrote all of the episodes.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
That's a wonderful writer and actor.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm also one of Maureen's students and lucky for that. And this is my pandemic project.
I'm curious. I was wondering how you two met. So you were attending acting classes from Maureen?
Yes, and Vin. And they've both been so supportive of my acting for sure, but also these independently produced projects that I've done outside of the class realm, and just supportive of me. And it's not lip service. I wouldn't be able to do a project like Around the Sun without Maureen and her talents and generosity, and Vin and his talents and generosity, and Joanna and others.
Maureen, how did that episode come about? I mean, how was it technically put together? Were you in one room and the other actress in another room? Were you on Zoom?
We did it on Zoom. And the other actress is a wonderful actress named Joanna Bonaro, who's in our theater company, who I've worked with many times. So when Brad asked me to do it, I of course said yes. And then he said, well, you're doing with Joanna. And I said, icing on the cake, even better. And so we knew each other very well. And I think that it made it a lot easier for us to work together. It wasn't like I had to get on Zoom with someone I'd never met, never talked to. We kind of knew each other's rhythms and how we act and how we respond. So it was just nothing but fun. We were on Zoom and Brad was there and we just kind of just did it and had fun with it. And
fortunately, my mic was muted because to hear Ms. Van Zandt imitate a exotic bird, a cockatiel as it were, totally smile and laugh worthy.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. How long did it take to put that episode together?
Well, we recorded on a single day, and then it's really the post-production that takes a while for me. This project, like I said, has been my pandemic project. So all told, each episode probably took about 2 months from start to finish. But recording itself, speaking as a producer, recording itself is a single day, but I know that Maureen and Joanna worked outside of that single day, so everybody's timeline's a little different.
That is very cool. That is very cool. Well, thank you very much, Brad. We have more to talk to you about in our other segment that you're featured in, and
I'm going to keep smiling. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you, Brad.
All right, Maureen, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back to find out what you're doing today and what's in the future. Thank you so much. All right. But wait, there's more of Maureen Van Zand coming up. But first, let's catch up with Russell, find out what he has to say. Russell, come on in.
Hey, great show. Oh, my God. I love this interview.
Oh, my gosh, that apartment she was in. I said, where are you? Oh, I'm in Greenwich Village. I go, of course you are.
Of course.
It's beautiful. Oh, my God, it was so nice.
And her work with Brad is fantastic. And the stories of Broadway and Ethel Merman. It's just amazing.
Oh, but there's more. Wait, there's more. So take it away, Russell, with your topic.
Yes, a quick shout out again to the Bustiers. We do need your help. And you can help us by using that Venmo or going to amberlive.tv and looking for the support Amberlive button if you'd like to use a credit card. And all of your money goes towards Amber Live's expenses, the software, the cameras, everything we have to keep running here. So we got to keep the lights on, and we thank you all. And then one other way you can help us out is by watching this word from our sponsor.
It's officially winter time now, and the days are getting longer, but they're still cold, and it's a great time of year to stay inside, safe, and warm. And Amber Live can help you do all of that. We have sweatshirts and hoodies to snuggle up in the cold winter nights, and get yourself an Amber Live mug for your coffee, your hot chocolate, or some of those adult beverages that Lucy Bell's been fixing up. And if you must go outside, how about wearing an Amber Live mask, please? We've got all that and much more at the Amber Live store. Order your merchandise today. Yeah, do what she said. Order it today. All right, before we get back to Maureen Van Zand, we've got our new special segment, Pass the Tea, with Emoji Nightmare.
Girl, that's hot. Hey, it's your girl Emoji Nightmare. Thanks so much for tuning in to Pass the Tea. So, it's episode 3. This is gonna be the exciting episode where the two sets meet one another. Yes, finally. Love that. We've got the full 12 queens. Nope, not really. So RuPaul enters the workroom. The door that the pit crew is used to coming out of is where Orion Story and Daya Betty emerge. The two queens that got eliminated in the first and second episode. So we're back to the full 14 queens. And it's not just that, there's another twist, this chocolate bar twist. So each queen will sign a chocolate bar and they will hold on to it forever. If they get eliminated in lip syncing for their life, then they need to reveal their chocolate bar. And if they have a gold I guess it's like a golden bar. If they've got the golden bar, then they actually are safe. It's like a secret immunity that only the producers know. I think it's probably gonna be revealed around top 6, and it's gonna be a queen that is kind of adored or has a good storyline. Yeah, so this is like a kind of a new thing, and it's a different situation, and that's kind of exciting. Rue also reveals that there's going to be 2 sets of balls, a pair of balls. The first original 7 queens are going to be doing animal print from Animal Rainbow. And then the set of queens that we met last episode, they are doing red, white, and blue, which you can tell I got the memo.
I understood the assignment.
So they have to do red hot resort, evening gown down, and wedding gown. Here's the twist about the wedding gown. They have to make them, that episode, they have to sew and their outfit together for the runway. The first 2 looks, the resort and the evening gowns, are presumably things that they brought with them. So red, white, and blue or animal print, those were your themes. Which would I prefer? I would actually prefer animal print because I love cow print, and actually really all animal print I really adore. But here I am, given the choice myself, and I'm in red, white, and blue. So, you know, but I'm just feeling, you know, patriotic today. I love my country. This is like, I love the sewing challenges because this is where we learn who knows how to sew and who has any sort of idea about costume design and structure. In the workroom, we find out about a lot of queens' past family trauma and history. All of this is, of course, washed away when they discover a dead dragonfly in the workroom. Cornbread, who was calling Diabetti diabetical, or diabetica, offered $1,000 if Dia were to consume the dragonfly, which she does. I would have done the same thing. I have done way worse for way less. So I hope that Cornbread is a woman of her word and that Diabetti just made an easy 1K. On the runway, I'm obviously not gonna go over all the looks because there were 42 of them. 42! It's a lot. But what I can say is that the ones that were, you know, talking big game and were pros, they were not actually in the tops or really in the bottoms. 8 of the queens are sent back to untuck because they are safe, and we soon learn with the critiques that the bottoms are Orion Story, June Jambalaya, and Metamorphosis, and the tops are Willow Pill and Jiria Van Michaels and Georges. I had some issues with these, so I didn't think Georges was all that great. I also didn't think Willow Pills was as amazing as they let it claim to be, and which was why I was even more surprised that Willow was deemed the winner of this week's challenge, when really I think Angeria had the most stunning looks for this runway. She's polished. In the bottom, we realize that Orion Story is safe, which I'm a bit surprised. If I had to choose, I would have Orion lip sync against June Jambalaya. I think those two were the bottoms. Metamorphosis, not great, but at the same time, I didn't think it was worthy of lip syncing for One's Life, which she does, and she did, and she Shantae stays. I think that June's lip sync was terrible. The kicking off of the shoes, the outfit just sort of came undone. It was falling off of her. The hair reveal was messy. The whole thing was messy. And I was actually pretty upset that in all of this chaos that was June's lip sync, that it kind of made it really difficult for Maddie to lip sync. Was Maddie a strong lip syncer? No. But I do think she deserved to stay over June Jambalaya. All right, take a look at my rankings for this week. There's more queens than there were last week, go figure. And some things have shifted around. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I didn't do any polling this week. I was busy doing Winter Rendezvous with Amber. Amber was bowling a storm. All right, so long. Until next week, I'm Emoji Nightmare. Woo!
Thank you, Emoji. Can't wait for next week. All right, here it is, part 3 of our interview with Maureen Van Zand. What a great interview so far. We have one more segment, finding out what's in the future for Maureen Van Zand. Maureen, come back in.
Hello.
Thank you again so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh,
All
it's
right.
fun.
So you've done the podcast Around the Sun. You've done some acting lessons on Zoom. What are your current projects, and what's in the future for you?
Okay, well, right now I think Zoom has become my life. I teach a weekly acting class through our theater company, which is called Renegade Theater NYC. You can check our website. Anyone interested in signing up for the classes or finding out about it. I am currently working on a play on Zoom called A View from the Bridge by Arthur Miller. Beautiful play, and Vincent Pastore is directing it. So we just started working on that a few weeks ago. We did a full production of Streetcar Named Desire several months ago on Zoom, which was quite a challenge, but we had the actor who played Stanley Kowalski, Sammy Semenza, who also teaches the acting class with me. He's also an incredible editor and technical person, and he made this thing look almost like a movie on Zoom. So great job on that. So we did that.
Now, are those available for anyone to see?
I believe so, but I can't. It might be on our YouTube channel, Renegade Theater NYC. We also have a couple of really cool holiday video things. We did a rock and roll version of A Christmas Carol, so that's up there, and it's great. It's really fun. Again, a lot of Zoom glitches, but it's there. And working on View from the Bridge now. Working on the acting class. I also do a podcast, which is called Generation Gap. And I co-host with a comedian named Josh Accardo. We've taken a little hiatus, but we're going to get back to that in January. So that's always a lot of fun. It's just sort of a pop culture broadcast, and hope to get back doing real plays and things. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, Broadway is back, but it's just very hard for smaller theater companies, and a lot of people don't want to be in small spaces unless they're really perfectly managed and monitored, and it's the Broadway houses can probably do that a lot better. So that's it for now, really. I work on some dance things, some choreography pieces, and coach some dancers sometimes. That on Zoom is not the easiest thing to do. So just kind of plugging along here and trying to look forward to a future when we can have more freedom to do real stage shows.
Now, you're an art advocate, I believe. You're an activist for the arts. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, I always have been. I've been involved in a couple of organizations that actually involve children in the arts. One of them is called the Rockit Academy, which it's an academy in New Jersey that teaches kids how to play instruments and sing, and mostly rock music. The guy who runs it was a rock musician. And we've done a lot of fun things. We did Tommy, the musical, and I was in that. I played Mrs. Walker, horribly singing it, but it was fun. Nobody noticed because the kids were so good. We've done a lot of projects. They do a lot of concerts, and I mentor the kids with that and help do fundraising for them and get people to to pay attention to what they do, because it's really important. And there's another group called Little Kids Rock that provides musical instruments and instruction to underprivileged kids. So they go to a lot of schools where kids really can't afford to have instruments, and the schools have pretty much taken the arts out, period.
That is such a shame. How much? I remember as a young kid, music class, Mrs. Barnett would push her music cart into our room twice a week, and you learn how to count, you learn fractions, you learn all kinds of things through music. And they just cut it, And
it really stimulates your mind in such an amazing way. Music is very mathematical, as you just said, and dancing is kind of mathematical in its own way. And it really is it's something that, everybody loves. I mean, we all still love we watch TV, we go to the movies, we go to shows. So why are they taking that out of school?
What saved us during the pandemic? It was the arts.
Exactly.
We were stuck on our couch, flicking through all these shows of actors and singers and producers and scenic designers and costume designers.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't sitting around adding up, numbers. We were watching art, and people did a lot of great stuff and it did save a lot of people.
Yes, it did.
We're stuck in our houses and we couldn't do anything else. So I think to not have that, in life is just really, it's tragic, and it's something that we need. I mean, it makes things more beautiful, or it shows the ugliness of life in a way that we might not have thought it to be. So it's really, really important. And it really, because like you said, when I was a kid, we did have arts in the school, and I see it's just gone. So I love that these programs really try to help bring that back.
I love it when they talk about how it develops critical thinking as well, because you see these characters and you go, well, why are they thinking that way? Oh, that's an interesting way to think. Or why did they say that? And it gets you thinking in ways that you wouldn't think.
Yeah, exactly. My husband has a foundation called Teach Rock, and they developed a curriculum for schools of music history. And so it teaches about the music, but also they get a history lesson, because let's say they're talking about Sam Cooke, music from the 60s. Then they go back to civil rights movement and, all the things that were happening at that time. And they could do it with any era. And they say to the kids, like, what are you listening to now? Oh, I'm listening to Beyonce. And then they sort of trace back, well, Beyonce was influenced by this person and this person. And so they teach you that everything has a history, and that there is a tradition and that gets passed forward, which is important with the arts, and I was a ballet dancer. That's the only way we ever learned it. It has to be passed forward from the generation before us. So it's the same with all of the arts, I think. So it's anybody that helps to keep that alive is really it's a hero to me,
We're starting 2022. We've had a rough past 2 years. What is your dream? What would you wish for everyone in the future?
I just wish that everyone will have freedom, because I think we've been so restricted. I would love for us to just get out there and have fun and not have to worry about who's sneezing, who's coughing. Do I have to worry about, I just want people to feel that you can walk down the street and not have this heavy cloud hanging over your head. And that, and that it will also bring, gratitude and appreciation for what we didn't have. And, that maybe that is wishful thinking, but that's what I would hope for.
Well, that's a great thought, and I'm with you on that. Thank you so much, Maureen Van Zand. It has been such a pleasure to talk to you and to share ideas with you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun talking to you, and I wish you wonderful holidays and the happiest 2022 for you and for everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. I just have to thank Brad Forenza for arranging that interview with Maureen Van Zand. Thank you. That was great. So, what's next? I've been wondering what's up in my attic, so I sent Duane Scott Cerny up there to find out. What did he find?
What's in your attic?
Hi, Duane.
Hey, Amber.
All right, you survived a trip up into my attic, and what did you find?
I found it's very cold up in your attic. So it may explain why you're so frigid.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, thank you, Russell. Oh, here. This is a selfie that I took at Chicago's lakefront. Now, this was taken last summer. I'm wearing my favorite architectural designer coat, Eskimo I Am Pie.
Very good.
I hear it's cold in your neck of the woods.
Yes, this week it got down to, I think the wind chill was like 18, 19 below one morning. Yeah, it was cold.
Worse than Chicago. Yeah. Illinois is regarded as a blue state, and not because of our politics, just because it's just that damn cold.
Maybe that's why Vermont is too.
Yes. So when people call us snowflakes, they're actually making a weather prediction.
That's very good. Do you do stand up, Scott?
Duane?
Okay, very good. All right. So, what did you find up in my attic?
Well, I want to get personal for a moment. I haven't seen you in a while, and I want to let you know that I recently had a breakup. It was I was seeing a snowman, and he was a really a jolly, happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and two eyes made out of coal. But it just didn't work out because he was a smoker. I mean, think about that. It's a snowman who smokes. It's really such a self-destructive, flammable personality. He melted my heart, and then, he just melted. I still keep him in a puddle in my bathroom, right next to my faucet. Anyway, I digress. So I've been rooting around in your very cold attic, and I put together something what we're going to call Roadside Distractions.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, many people have been traveling all around the country during the pandemic, all hoping to claim that elusive title, Patient Zero. If you think about it, it takes a hell of a lot of zeros to get to 100 million infections. So this segment is for all those who've chosen not to travel, right, and stay hunkered down for the next month or two. Be safe. Ride out the plague like one of the horsemen in the apocalypse. So Amber, I surveyed your attic, and I'm going to take you on a whirlwind tour of Americana at its very best, or in your attic, worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay. First up, Russell, let's go to the East Coast. So this is the iconic Elephant Hotel in Atlantic City. Now, the rooms here are a bit small, and the only ones with a view are at the back end of the elephant when he's happy or defecating, or happily defecating. Now, a little known fact, this structure was actually once used as the national headquarters for the Pachydermological Society. I want you to say that fast 3 times because I can't. Pachydermological Society. Yeah, it's kind of fun. And when you think of an elephant, you think of soft skin. But I know I do. But now it's actually used as a Prevagen dispensary. I think. I'm not sure. I may have misremembered that. Prevagen.
You may have.
This tour just keeps going. Okay. Next up. Gardner, Massachusetts. This is the world's largest chair. It weighs 1,200 pounds, is 12 feet high, and they use 600 feet of lumber to construct it. No mention of nails or the size of anyone's hammer. This style is arts and crafts, mission oak, or missionary, as we say in the rough trade. It was not, contrary to the rumor, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, but it could easily seat his enormous ego.
Oh, is it still sitting today?
I think it's firewood out that way. It's the best use. All right, next up, we're going to go to New York City, 48th and Broadway, New York City's Ripley's Believe It or Not Auditorium. Here is a merman, or Ethel Merman, as we're contractually obligated to say in gay vernacular. To be historically accurate, and this is true, not unlike all the other things I'm pitching today, this is called a Fiji mermaid, and there were actually many of them being found around the country. I don't know why. Most were fabricated from half a monkey and half a fish, and that's not to be confused with monkfish that I'm certain Martha Stewart prepares with the sauce she's fermented for over 50 years in her favorite jadeite jar that she paid almost nothing for.
And believe it or not, that's the second time this show, or third time, that Ethel Merman's been mentioned.
But Fiji mermaid, first time, right?
First time,
yeah.
Yes.
I'm totally honest here. I actually own a Fiji mermaid. Don't ask why. But however, mine is made of latex, and I only take it out once a year at the International Mr. Leather Contest, just to cause a scene. No other reason.
I'm sure it was.
I'm popular one day a year. Okay, next up. This is actually another Ripley's exhibit. Oh, you're going to like this one, Amber. This is from St. Augustine, Florida, which is, coincidentally, this is also the home of the Ron DeSantis Sanitarium for the Criminally Negligent. It's the allegedly the biggest boot in the world. Guess who we want to use it on? This boot is size, drumroll, 168.
Oh my God!
Yeah, talk about big feet.
Yes. Well, you know what Pee Wee always said: big feet, big shoes.
Well, especially when you talk dirty to it. Seriously, this is the original really big shoe. from Ed Sullivan fame.
Sullivan, yes.
Remember Ed Sullivan? Well, Ed Sullivan.
Oh, yes.
He was a little bit of a cross-dresser. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, he had a long-term relationship with a certain famous dreamy-eyed mouse. Yes.
Topio.
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie.
You see me? Good night, Eddie. Yeah, we all knew what was going on there. Let's cut the cheese, right? Okay. All right, now we're going to go to the Midwest. We're just traveling all around the country. I don't know what's wrong with this. This is from Brookville, Ohio, and Thorpe, Wisconsin. Both towns, many of them, like across America, have had famous two-headed cows. They're actually more common than you think. Now, again, don't judge. I write about owning my own two-headed cow in Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers. Totally true. But, you know, my only beef, excuse me, my only beef with owning a two-headed cow is that I'm lactose intolerant. And I can't get 2% out of the damn thing.
You know, I find that picture utterly fascinating.
How many times? How many others? You know, I fed my two-headed cow almonds. Still nothing. This doesn't work. Okay, we're gonna go. Let's go west. We're gonna go to Gerberville, California, and the Chandelier Tree in Underwood Park. Now, if this isn't the most selfish garage owner in the world, I don't know who is. And it's a one-car tree. So this jerk still needs a storage locker for his barbecue equipment and pool accessories and his damn trampoline. This concept never really caught on, but, you know, aluminum siding, that kind of explains it.
Yeah, I see a lot of junk in that trunk.
we can get that shoe back out. Okay, finally, we're going to go to Confusion Hill, which is, you know, pretty much where I live most of the time. This is in another California roadside distraction. This is similar to the Oregon Vortex or the Santa Cruz Mystery Spot, except neither of those will come out in your dry cleaning. Basically, and try to stick with me here. I know it's always going fast. These are places where magnetism, it's true, and gravity defy belief. Yeah, you know, kind of like the audience at the Oscars. People, these are real photos. These are actual photos. These are real places. People have speculated that places like this could be vortexes or multi-dimensional doors or just the work of really bad contractors.
I go with option C.
Go C, bucket number C.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started really been thinking about this, and I think that, you know, when you start to make a list of all the things in life that you should be grateful for, you know, good health, good friends, amber, better vodka, you should include gravity. Well, you know, why not? Look at what gravity has done for Kim Kardashian's ass. So the next time you or me or some of our friends are passed out flat on the floor, I want you to thank your lucky stars and gravity. Because, you know, without gravity, you just float away and become your own roadside distraction. But without the road, and that would not be good for anyone who's trying to sell one of these damn postcards.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Duane. Thank you so much, Duane Scott Cerny. We'll see you next time after you get out of Amber's attic. Thank you so much.
What's in your attic?
Yes, go online and order that book. All right. What can top him? Rocco. Let's bring in Rocco and find out what he's up to this week.
Hey, this is Rocco, and I wanted to just butt in on this whole episode with Maureen Van Zand because, hey, she's hot. But besides that, yeah, she was in The Sopranos. And you know how I know that? Besides watching the show and seeing her, I auditioned for The Sopranos. Now, mind you, I wasn't cast because they said, hey, you're not exactly like Italian enough. I was like, are you kidding me? But whatever, I digress, as they say. So, I want to discuss that ending. I know some of you are saying, hey, the ending has been discussed already. David Chase said that, you know, Tony got whacked. Well, I have a different conclusion. Number one, If he did get whacked, who whacked him? I think it was the guy bringing the french fries. Could have been. Or, if you recall, Meadow was running in from the parking lot. Now, Meadow was described, pretty much as a bombshell because she was hot too. So I think when she was running in, she tripped and that bomb went off. And boom, everybody's dead. That's what I think happened. I could be wrong. Go figure. What the hell's going on with the lights?
Thank you, Rocco. Rocco has his own fan club. Yes, he does, and it's well deserved. Thank you so much for watching tonight. So as you proceed through January, stay warm, stay safe, get vaccinated, get boosted, wear your mask. Let's get out of this thing together, all right? Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.
That's one for the books.
Yeah, well, that's one book that needs to be burned.